Are you a business owner stuck in fear, doubt, and worry about what the marketplace will look like in the future? Then this show is for you. Strap on your seatbelt and get ready to disrupt and innovate. Here's your host, Lisa Levy.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you today Nelson Nigel, the founder and CEO of Kidmoto Technology. Nelson transformed a personal challenge into a thriving business by identifying a crucial gap in the market during his time as an Uber driver. In 2016, he noticed the absence of child car seats in taxis and car services, leaving parents in a vulnerable position. Kidmoto has rapidly grown into a trusted brand, connecting parents with a network of skilled drivers who provide secure child car seats for airport transfers across 52 U.S. cities. His unwavering positive mindset and commitment to his team have propelled Kidmoto to achieve remarkable milestones, including over 40,000 completed rides, 7 figures in revenue in 2023, and a valuation of $25 million. Today, we'll delve into Nelson's incredible journey, exploring how his dedication and innovative thinking are making travel safer for families across the nation. It is my great pleasure to introduce and welcome Nelson to the conversation.
Hey, Lisa.
How are you?
Hey, I'm fantastic. Aloha from New York City, Lisa. How are you?
I am wonderful. I am so glad to have you here with me today and have this conversation. Can you share with me and share with my audience a little bit about your journey and what brought you to Kidmoto and why it is so incredibly important?
Where do I start? Part of the journey is you have to be relentless. You just, it's like, oh man, there's so many failures. Oh, and you just have to be relentless, relentless, fearless. You just can't stop. I guess that's like one of the main parts of it. What led me to it? I saw a need in the market. It, did car services and taxis when I was driving a yellow cab, which is the greatest job ever in my life, driving a New York City yellow cab, right? And forget about it. It was like outstanding. And I saw the need, and I said, you know what, Uber's not doing this, Lyft is not doing this. Let me look. We could make this happen, right? It was crazy. It was that Uber, that Airbnb, that sort of crazy. And here we are now, 53 cities across America, right? And I just can't stop because I'm providing for unique segments of the population. I love it.
So how did you go about solving the problem? I mean, obviously you saw that parents were traveling and their kids weren't safe, but how did it become Kidmoto?
You can thank Paula Zimmerman for that. Because I didn't know how to name the company back, way back then. And
Yeah.
Paula, out of Boulder, she helped me with a name, and she came up with Kidmoto. So, Paula, she put that identity on the company, and I just saw, there's such a need for there's such a need for this product, and the market did not provide services. Even we're talking about $50 billion Uber, Lyft, they were not even attentive to this segment of the population. And I went and I say, you know what, this shot in the dark, shot in the sky, right? Install
Some people
child
call it the
cars.
moonshot, right?
You
It's your
can call
moonshot.
it. This is way further than the moon. you know, like I had like $500 when I started this company. Like okay, $500. Uber has 60-70 billion dollars. They're not doing it. I'm like 500. How can I compete? And it's more than a moonshot at that point. But here we are now. You just have to be like you just gotta be relentless, Lisa. It
So
was just
talk with the audience and share us, that story, navigating the challenge of bootstrapping something that is now has a valuation of $25 million. that's a successful startup if ever I've heard about one. So
Eh,
talk us
yeah.
through the journey.
The journey starts with, I know it's cliche. You take a step to walk 1,000 miles, right? And I'm just having this conversation this morning with someone on my team. We just have to always think, what is the next best step? And I've learned that from Oprah. She kept saying, what is the next best step? What is the next best step? And we just consistently have to take the next best step, regardless if it's a good idea or a bad idea, or if we're afraid or not. We just have to keep moving forward, and just keep going. That's part of that non-stop energy. Non-stop energy. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep trying. Keep trying. Keep trying. You fall down 7 steps, 7 times. You get back up 8. Fall down 9. Get back up 10. Right, and that's part of it. Right. That's part of the journey. It's you just have to, just that heart of a champion. You can't give up. You cannot give up. Life is gonna throw you
I,
lemons. You make lemonade.
Absolutely. And so, will you tell us did you drive the first car with the first child seat?
Absolutely,
Did you?
absolutely.
So, tell us about that experience for that family for the first time having something, a
It,
problem solved for them that they never had before.
it's just hearing the family say, "Oh my goodness, I didn't think this was available. Oh my goodness, I didn't think this was available." And that kind of like fuels you when you hear the consumer feedback, and like you hear the emotions, and it's like, wait, did I create this? Wow, we do so much. Yeah, and there's a value. There's value
Mhm.
to solving a real problem. And I will say, we're not Blue Apron. I will say we're not Blue Apron. You know, I mean, that's all I can say. All right. We provide super value to our consumer base.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this, you're building a company, right, with a culture that values collaboration and you're about empowering your employees.
Absolutely.
So tell us about that experience for the employees. What is it like working for Kidmoto?
Uh, oh, I'm mentoring employees all the time, and I love it. It's creating leaders within the organization. The objective is always to create leaders, right? And uh, uh, many people have that quality. They just have not tapped into it, or they're not coached into it. They're not mentored into it, and they someone needs to help them crack that eggshell, and keep pushing them, because many of us had that in us. We just haven't tapped into it, and or we choose not to tap into it. And a great leader is always going to evoke, like greatness out of other people, and you hear it all the time. You know, uh, right? You hear it all the time from CEOs. We want to create great leaders within our organization because there's value to it when you can help somebody, take the next steps. Because again, many people don't know how to, and they don't have the motivation, and they're afraid.
As you have been building and growing Kidmoto, I'm sure that there are some specific challenges that you faced that you had to figure out and navigate through, over, or around. Will you tell us a story about one of those challenges, something that you've overcome and what it meant to your company and maybe even to your customers?
Oh, I have a legal, one in legal, right? I faced an IP issue, and IP internet, an internet issue with my copyright, and it was a great learning lesson in legal. And we were sued for IP infringement, but we actually had the IP, and it cost a lot of money to someone sued us, and I responded, and I responded well. And this brings in, this brought in my back, like my ability to organize, systemize, document, and keep record, and the record keeping. And I was able to fight the case and and really come out as a winner because you know a lot of business it's organization, systemization, documentation, record keeping, risk management, and that was a great lesson with in the American legal system. My first lesson in the American legal system on the federal level, and taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about how to uh, play the legal game because it's important.
It is important because if you don't understand how to play it, or you don't have somebody an attorney who can play it for you, it can be the end stop for your growth and your trajectory. Um, as you've grown Kidmoto, can you talk a little bit about your personal commitment to the vision? What is the vision for the business, and how do you encourage your people to make it possible?
Let's start with the vision. The
Okay.
original vision was to create better transportation for parents with small children, and as we've become larger and larger, now we're moving on to creating more opportunities for other underserved segments of the population. Meaning, we're moving into parents with newborns and hospitals that need to be picked up because that's a need that new parents need a transportation service from the hospitals because generally 99.9% of them don't know how to install an infant seat and they're like totally new to the game, right? So that's Baby Moto. That's a different company under our parent company called Moto Nation, and we are moving into a last mile cargo for cruise lines and airlines because there's a super need for it. Think about losing a luggage and like how do you get your luggage, right? Well, we're a national company and we have a better ability to do it than as opposed to uh, uh, other traditional means. Even like I'm speaking to a senior person at a large airline a few months ago, and he's like, "Well, we'll just call an Uber, or we'll just use a yellow taxi." And you would think that there's things in place, right? You would think that, but there isn't. So, and we're also looking at transporting cruise line members because again, you would think that there is a product out there, but there isn't. And also like more like in medical logistics, more transporting the elderly. So
Yes.
we're focused on underserved segments of the population, and the vision has went from a small vision. Now it's like once you've like fell down 1,000 times, 10,000 times, now you can start saying that hey, we could do a lot more to help a lot more people.
And the model is really pretty simple. You found specific niches of vulnerable populations in many respects who are underserved and have great need. Our baby boomers are aging, and non emergent medical transport is something that's a real need across the country. And there is not a nationally known brand at this point in time that is solving for that effectively. So Nelson, I am so inspired by the fact that you take one thing and an idea and you make it work. And then with your vision, you're reframing that. It's the same model, but just a different audience and a different customer base. But the underlying need is the same: safety, right? Safe
Exactly.
transportation.
And large, a large organization is not focusing on the very tiny segments of the population, and we have figured out, hey, no, we don't need to do everything, right? And this is a lesson for all the small business owners, right? Focus, focus on your target market. You can't do everything. You can't shoot in the sky and expect to hit everything. Focus on one thing, or right, and that's it. That is your vision. Right? Your vision is, focusing on one thing, and your mission is to how do you get there?
Absolutely. And with this, in a business that's growing and evolving and adding new lines of business underneath the overall umbrella of Moto Nation, how do you encourage your employees to share ideas? Is that a part of
Oh,
your business model, to just listen to what they're thinking as well?
Oh, absolutely. It's, Rome was not built in one day, and Rome was not built with like by one man, right? So you want to encourage leaders, you want to build leaders within the organization because, and of course, you want to employ as much the smartest people as possible because we I'm just a hustler. Right. I love working with smart people because different eyes see different things, right? And it's like we don't know everything, and but different eyes see different things, and it's just always great to hear feedback from other people. And part of building leadership and then creating leaders is giving everybody the opportunity to speak and telling them, hey, it's important to hear your voice because your voice matters.
Absolutely. Nelson, if members of the audience are interested in learning more, how do they find out more about Moto Nation, Kidmoto, or you yourself?
You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I would appreciate, everyone can just find me, Nelson Nigel, and uh, it's you can find me there.
All right.
Yeah, it's very very important for business owners to be on LinkedIn.
We will have links in the show notes to make it easy for you to find that. Nelson, today, thank you for sharing your insight and your wisdom. I mean, we talked through the basic fundamentals of starting with what is the next best thing, right? Oprah is great inspiration, but for our business leaders, it's important to remember that sometimes it's important just to move forward rather than feeling that you're paralyzed and stuck in one place. The decision today may prove to be good, bad, or indifferent in the future, but then you can make the next best decision. It's important. Nelson was talking to us about growing leaders from within and making sure that as the business matures and grows and protecting your IP and understanding legal consequences, that to do that and make sure you're well cared for, you have to have systems in place. You have to be able to, understand your own record keeping, and all of these are fundamentals of basic risk management. So this was a highly informative conversation today. Nelson, thank you so much for being here with me. And for my audience, you know the rules. Don't get left behind. Join me next time.
That's it for today's episode of Disrupt and Innovate. Head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show.